So historically, I've eaten a lot of meat. And when I say a lot of meat, I mean a lot of meat. Most of my meals would involve eating some kind of meat or fish, and for a long time, I was totally fine with that. Over the last few years though, things have changed, and I've become aware I need to be eating more plants and less meat. Now, whenever you discuss diet online, you get 1,000 internet nutritionists telling you why you should eat a particular way and do this. So it's easy to think that there's no consensus. But when you look at the science as a whole, the vast majority of doctors, scientists and health organisations think we should probably be eating a bit more plants, a bit less animals. From an environment standpoint, meat production's a big factor in global warming, and that's before you get into things like deforestation, water use, and antibiotic resistance. Now, I've been trying to eat less meat for a while now, but with limited success. But as I look around, more and more of my friends you wouldn't have expected to, have been going vegan or cutting their meat intake, or vegetarian or something along those lines. So I thought I'd give it another go. I decided that for 30 days I'd eat a vegan diet. No meat, no fish, no eggs, no dairy. And I will report back my findings now through the medium of a YouTube video. Firstly, let's talk definitions. I've been telling people I've been eating a plant-based diet rather than a vegan diet, and the reason being that there's some food that's plant-based but not necessarily 100% vegan. Take tomato ketchup, for example. Some ketchups, not Heinz, but some other ketchups, might not necessarily be fully vegan. The reason being that whilst there's no animal products in the ketchup itself, when they make the sugar and refine it, they use bone char, which is an animal product, to refine the sugar, and then this sugar will go into the food. Now, I've not gone through and checked every single thing I've eaten, whether it's been vegan, fully vegan or not, and researched all the production history of everything. What I've basically done is gone through the back of the packet, and if it's got no animal products of any form, no meat, cheese, dairy, fish, whatever, then it's gone in my tummy. So it might not be 100% vegan, but it's definitely 100% plant-based. Anyway, here's what I discovered. First of all, it's really easy to eat without any animal products. I thought it was really hard, and to be honest, in my life before I tried vegan experiment, I probably don't think I'd ever gone an entire day without eating at least one animal product. So there'd be days where I didn't eat meat, but I'm sure I would have had some buttermilk, cheese or something in there somewhere. So I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult than it was. There's just lots of things you can swap for stuff. In my head, I think I imagined I was going to have to prepare all these meals from scratch, but I don't do that with meat a lot of the time. Sometimes I'm just too busy to cook. So whilst I will cook meals from scratch with whole food ingredients, a lot of the time, there's times when I'm just busy and I'll just put some fish fingers in the oven. And it turns out that there's lots of really nice things that are that equivalent, that sort of breaded, processed equivalent food that are really nice and quick to do. So I guess you just got to shop for different things. I know that probably sounds really obvious, but it wasn't for me. Just when you go to the supermarket, you just buy different stuff. When you eat out now, there's more and more choices for vegans and plant-based eating. I live in a village of 1,800 people, and there's a pub in my village that's got an entirely plant-based menu with like 3 starters, 3 mains, 3 desserts. So you've got a fair amount of choice. It's not just eating salads and stuff. So I think it's just getting easier. I think when you are out and about, most places you go to, there will be at least one vegan option for you to eat from. When it comes to plant-based versions of animal foods, it can be a bit of a mixed bag. Some of them are absolutely delicious, and you quickly learn which ones you're going to like and what brands are good, but some of them absolutely rank. There are quite a few brands that I started to realise make consistently good stuff, and I started eating a lot of their products. Vivarius chicken goujons are now always in my fridge, but the big surprise from them was how awesome their plant shawarma kebab was. On a number of occasions, I returned from the pub and opened my own vegan kebab shop in the kitchen. This made Greek meat substitutes too, and their This Isn't Bacon was served up at many a breakfast over the month. In terms of supermarkets, Sainsbury's Plant Pioneers range includes awesome hot and spicy goujons and some lovely burgers. Greggs vegan sausage rolls have received a lot of positive publicity online, and rightly so. They're very tasty. They taste a lot like their regular sausage rolls, although I think that might be more of a reflection on the meat content in the regular ones rather than a positive thing for the vegan ones. There are other areas where I found it a bit harder to get good plant-based substitutes. I found a lot of vegan butters and spreads absolutely disgusting. And even I tried Flora, which I used to have as a kid, and thought that was absolutely disgusting. Until someone recommended I try Flora Buttery, which tastes buttery, I guess. Now, the area I really struggled with was vegan cheese. I did not find a single one that wasn't absolutely disgusting. And I know that the vegans out there might be saying, well, Robbie, is it more disgusting than the slaughter of billions of animals a year and destroying the planet through CO2 emissions? And I'd say, yeah. Some of the cheese I had were worse than that. Now, just because you're eating vegan doesn't necessarily mean you're always getting, I think, the healthiest option out there. I found, like, when I was at home, no problem at all. I could just buy the right things and I didn't have any problem with it. But when I was out and about, particularly at the minute, because there's sometimes reduced menus with COVID and less choice in places like Pret and things like that, I found it was a bit more difficult. And there'd be times where there'd be sort of things like maybe a chicken salad or even a vegetable sandwich that would have had butter on it, so it wasn't actually vegan, but I couldn't eat those because of the rules I'd set myself. So literally the only option I could find in an area was a bag of chips from a chip shop. So I don't necessarily think I was always getting the healthiest option there was. On the health side though, I think I'm a bit overweight. I tend to lose a bit of weight, and I did lose a couple of kilos whilst doing vegan stuff, but that was more at the beginning when I was cooking a lot of meals from scratch. When I was out and about more and had less time, it sort of stabilised a bit, and I wasn't really losing weight. So I think it was as much eating sort of whole food stuff that you've prepared yourself and you know what's going in, rather than just purely losing weight because I was eating vegan, which makes sense, I guess. Calories in, calories out and all that. Ordering out can be a bit of a gamble with vegan foods because you don't always know what you're getting, and you can ask people at the restaurant, but they don't always necessarily know that much about the food because they might not have tried it themselves. For example, if you order a beef burger in a pub, you sort of know what you're going to get. You're going to get some beef in a bun. It might be one of those thick burgers, it might be one of those thin burgers, but you sort of know what you're going to get. If you get a plant-based burger or a vegan burger, whatever they call it, some of them are things that are like pretend meat that seem very realistic. Some of them are jackfruit burgers, some of them are sort of bean burgers, also very nice, and they go in range all the way down to a big mushroom that they just put in a bun and tell you it's a vegan burger. So it can be a little bit hit and miss like that. I had a plant-based burger this week in a pub when I went out for dinner with my brother that was absolutely disgusting and yeah, really rank, and they forgot to bring the ketchup and the rice machine was broken, so I won't be going back. There's only like 4 places in my village, I'll definitely be going back. When the ice is back, I'll be going back. Speaking of jackfruit's rank. Vegans, you're not doing yourself any favours by championing jackfruit and all this. Yes, if you smother it in barbecue sauce or some other sauce like that, it's edible, it's fine, but the texture's rank. It's not good. There's better sort of meat substitute in jackfruit. You're damaging your cause by pushing forward jackfruit as your poster boy. Pick some of the other lovely things. There's lovely vegan foods. Jackfruit, you backed the wrong horse. The thing that surprised me the most, I think, about this experiment was that after a few weeks, the thought of eating meat just became a bit weird. Not like in a sort of, oh, that's disgusting sort of way, more in a bit of a, I didn't really consider it as an option for something to eat an animal. So it wasn't that I was sort of, oh my God, that's horrible, I wouldn't want to do that. It was more like weird, like it was something out of Jackass or something. Like, oh yeah, get over here, Gary's gonna eat a chicken, mate. Classic Gary. It was that sort of vibe to it, really. So I don't know, it just felt a little bit of a weird thing to do. In the past, I've done a few experiments with eating, but they've been hard to maintain in the long term. I've done it for a set period of time, and then when I've finished, I've kind of just gone back to the way I was. But with this, it's kind of stuck quite a bit. I do eat meat and fish and dairy products and other animal related things now and then on occasion, but I've cut back massively. I think yesterday I don't think I had any meat at all. The day before that I had I think I had dessert when I was out for dinner. I had a bit of cream in it, but I only eat a bit of meat maybe 2-3 times a week now, and most things I eat don't have any animal products in it at all, and it's been quite easy to do, and it's working well for me. I'm describing my diet now as plant focused rather than plant based or vegan or anything, because I will still, as I say, eat bits of meat. We're up at the seaside. That's not the sea, I know that's the river, not the sea, but we are at the seaside this weekend visiting the in-laws, and the kids are going to want to eat fish and chips, so I'll probably have fish and chips with them. We'll stay with other people, so I'm not going to be going through and insisting that everything's vegan. I'll just probably eat what I'm given here and try and make plant-based choices where I can. But that's sort of been my policy to it. The other week, Blue Van Man came down and wanted to make a fatty, so I made a fatty, but I gave it to him to take away with afterwards, because this is not how I eat that much anymore. If I had to put a figure on it, I'd say I've probably cut out 80-90% of the animal products from my diet now. As I say, I still do eat some things where necessary. I'm not going to go vegan at the minute. I wouldn't rule it out in the future, particularly as things get easier to do and easier to get food out and about. But for now, this is how I'm eating, and it's working well for me. So to sum up, if you are interested in reducing your meat intake and experimenting with this, I thoroughly recommend doing 30 days of veganing, either in Veganuary or any other time of the year. Just you do you. It's been really good for me. I think I found it really positive, and you might not end up being vegan. You might just eat a little bit less meat, which is probably a good thing for a lot of people. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it didn't sound very preachy. It's not particularly. I don't care what you do. Go eat a horse if you like. I'm not that fussed. Hit the like and subscribe button, and if you know of any good vegan cheeses, I'd love to know, because quite frankly most of them are just like gnawing on a bit of plastic. Anyway, cheers for watching. I'm gonna go and eat some jackfruit. I'm not, it's rank.